The gruesome rape and murder of a 31-year-old trainee doctor in Kolkata has sparked massive nationwide protests across India. It has also left some young doctors traumatised. Well, for more on this, Smita Sharma joins me now live from New Delhi. Smita, we've seen huge doctors' protests and strikes over the last week. What's the latest on these? Are they still happening? Are they still impacting patients?
Well, yes, they are happening in large numbers across cities and hospitals. Even as we speak today, there are a large number of doctors who have gathered outside the Union Health Ministry. Once again, is the third time in the last 3 days. In fact, they also said that they would try and see patients there in free outpatient department clinics that would be set up. The doctors are very clear. Look, as far as the demand is concerned, there is that federal agency probe ongoing into the murder. The CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, is interrogating different people. It's also visited the home of this trainee doctor. They want the perpetrators to be hanged to death, to be punished at the earliest possible, this to be a time-bound investigation. The doctors also, most importantly, want a Central Protection Act, because even in the last few days, as their protests have continued, news has continued to come in of violence against doctors in different hospitals, especially the trainees who work very long hours at night, and also violence against women from different cities. So it's not really just about this one woman. In fact, I spoke to some of the protesting doctors earlier about what's the impact as far as this particular incident and also the continued sexual assault cases that keep getting reported in India on their mental, emotional well-being. Take a look at what they have to say.
We want justice! We want justice! We want justice!
The saviors need saving. Young doctors in their lab coats, medical staff and paramedics chant for justice in the Indian capital. Huge crowds demanding better safety and swift action against those guilty of raping and killing one of their own in Kolkata. 23-year-old Ishita Agarwal is a final year student of medicine. The RG Medical College killing has left her shaken.
I feel scared walking in the corridors that are dark enough for me to walk, and I know that from next year onwards I'll have to do night duties, and that scares me a lot. Even switching on the flashlight scares me, that if I'll draw more attention to myself. It is a shame, because do you want the doctors to walk with scalpels and pepper sprays in their bags?
She's not alone. Many like her are asking, where are women safe in this country?
It's not only about doctors, it's about rape of any women anywhere. Every time we hear such news, it's like the pain after hearing this news, it's like spine chilling. And every time we hear, we get scared more. And more than us, our parents, the one who know, they get scared.
After such a duty of 36 hours, if something like this happens to you or your daughter or your friend or your sister, how would you feel? This is what we are gathered for, that no girl in this country should feel this unsafe, especially at their workplace. That place is supposed to make you feel safe.
Young men too are standing in solidarity with the women seeking change.
I think all my women friends and colleagues have been traumatized, and least to say they have been like demotivated.
This is something that is supposed to be taught to the men, to the like the young boys out there, and they have to be taught this in a very early stage, so that they instill that particular thing and they grow up with that particular mindset that it's not the women who are the problem, it's the men who are the problem.
51 rape cases were reported every hour in India in 2022, according to official figures. But instead of punishing the perpetrators, it's the victims who often get shamed and blamed. Protesters say far tougher action is needed.
We don't execute, we don't give punishment publicly. We need to hang them publicly. Just hand over that rapist to the public.
Some cases provoke international outrage, but several sexual assault cases against the poor and marginalized in India attract no attention at all. When the wheels of justice move slowly and the powerful and wealthy accused of crimes against women are protected by political patronage, the law stops being a deterrent. The RG incident has once again highlighted the urgent need of change in mindset, societal and legal, to end this culture of rape in the country. Smita Sharma, TRT World, New Delhi.
Dr. Tanaya Narendra is an internationally trained medical doctor, a best-selling author, an embryologist and a scientist, and she joins me now from India's Prayagraj city. We saw a horrific incident similar to this back in 2012 when a medical student was assaulted and died, eventually in Singapore. And this has been an issue, an ongoing issue in India. Why haven't things changed?
I think we need a major systemic overhaul. It's not just one incident that happens one off. We get so many different instances of news like this coming, and it's always very horrific. It's not some random piece of information you hear. You'll hear about very gruesome details, and it is quite terrifying. As a woman and as a doctor, I'm doubly scared right now because I see this so often, and we have a very strong patriarchal mindset over here. We need a sensitization program. We need young people to be educated, especially men, about how to make places safer for women. And we also need to include them in the conversation because I don't think people exist in an environment where you're constantly scared.
Absolutely. And in this case, it's said that potentially a member of the police force is one of the main suspects. Do you believe the justice system will prevail and criminals will be held to account for this?
Actually, it's not a direct member of the police service. So in the state of West Bengal, they have something called a civic volunteer, which are provided to provide assistance and help the police system work better, which means they have unrestricted access to all areas of this particular hospital and in other places as well. I don't know if these people get any training before they're sent in as civic volunteers. So we are providing so much information and so much access to people who probably have no idea in how to assist the law and order situation. I truly hope things change. I truly hope the matter comes to justice, but I don't know if I can say for certain if it will happen, given the involvement of the people that are involved in this situation.
Gosh, thank you so much for that clarification. So you're basically saying these are people who are in essence responsible for making the hospital safer, that potentially is to blame for this. I mean, obviously, we'll find out in due course. Just moving away from the incident itself, these protests that have been going on nationwide, I just wonder how bad the impact has been on patients in India and where public support lies.
I think public support comes and goes. We sometimes get it, we sometimes don't get it. I think COVID really changed the picture for people in seeing how hard it is for trainee doctors. On average, we work 100 hours a week. That is not a reasonable number of working hours, especially in a very high-risk profession like medicine, where you need to be on your best cognitively at all times. So it has helped, it has gotten better, but I don't know if the public really stands with us at all moments, especially now. There has been a large amount of public support in this particular case, given that it's getting so murky every day, and there just seems to be no end to the gruesomeness of the details that keep coming out every now and then. When it comes to the access to medicine right now, the situation is, of course, it's difficult, and I think going on strike is a really important and powerful move from the medical community, given that we have no legal protection. We don't have a central violence prevention act or anything of that sort. This is a powerful and very necessary move in this time, but emergency services still continue. So it's not that there's absolutely no access to healthcare. There is some restricted access still available. And I think it is a trade-off at this moment that we need the government and we need the central authority to hear us, provide us. And unfortunately, the common public is suffering because of that.
OK, I understand. Dr. Tanaya Narendra, thank you so much for joining us.